So we're going to reconvene the open session and call to order at 6 o'clock. Just want to remind everybody in the audience that recording may be made at the direction of the board and that the recording may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Report of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session. And then we'll do roll call vote. President Elkishan here. Clerk Lopez-Jones here. Trustee Maxfield here. Trustee Gonzalez
Here.
Trustee Rothberg Allen. Here. Great. If everybody will stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our district mission statement: we are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our society. Okay, 5.1 is public business from the floor on non-agendized items. And so this portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. And we have a public comment. Laurel, you want to have that? So just go ahead and introduce yourself and give us your address, like you did on the card.
My name is Laurel Rios. I live at 2025 Urbana Place in Calistoga. I actually have So good evening, members of the school board. My name is Laurel Rios, and my daughter goes to the Calistoga Elementary School. I am here this evening to discuss the use of the cafeteria at the elementary school. Before the school year started, we found out that despite the rise in COVID cases, students would still alternate between eating inside the cafeteria and outside. I was honestly shocked when I heard that the kids would be eating inside. While I can appreciate and acknowledge the other safety protocols and procedures the school has put in place to keep the kids safe, putting a large group of unvaccinated children inside, unmasked, and in close proximity with each other cancels out the other safety protocols put in place by the school. When I brought up my concerns to Principal Lamar, she explained that they were following the California Department of Public Health guidelines, and she then suggested that I look into independent study for Sophia if I did not feel comfortable with procedures at the elementary school. After I pressed back, the school was kind enough to allow me to pick up Sophia every day for lunch when she is scheduled to eat inside. While I am thankful to have a job that allows me to have a flexible schedule, I know that most other parents can't help out for lunch during their workday. I have offered on numerous occasions to volunteer my time and supervise outdoor lunch so more kids can eat outside if it's due to staffing issues. I was then told that parents were not allowed on campus due to COVID. Just recently, I read that the Calistoga Seroptimist is looking for volunteers for their Read Aloud Partners program at the elementary school, a program where community members spend 30 minutes a week inside a classroom reading stories. Why are these volunteers allowed on campus to read stories in the classroom, but I am turned down when I am volunteering to watch the kids outside for lunch? Every time I pick up Sophia for lunch, I walk past the cafeteria and see over 50 children in there at a time, sitting very close together and obviously with no masks on because they're eating. Up until recently, the elementary school office had a large sign out front that said, "No more than 3 people at a time, masks required." I couldn't help but chuckle at the hypocrisy of the sign. To my left were a large group of kids inside sitting very close together with no masks. And on my right, they were imposing a 3-person limit and mask mandate. How is this fair? I am here tonight because my email and numerous requests to both Principal Lamar and Superintendent Hagberg pleading to have the kids eat outside have gone unanswered. I have provided you all with a copy of the email I sent both to the principal and superintendent on Friday, September 3rd. My fears of having the children eat inside are not based on irrational thoughts. They are based on scientific fact. In the email, I referenced a study that the University of Maryland conducted specifically for K-12 schools. One of their strongest recommendations after the conclusion of the study is that children should eat outdoors. The high rate of indoor aerosol transmission in a cafeteria full of children is terrifying. The fact of the matter is that the hospitalization rate for children due to COVID has significantly increased in the past 6 weeks, as well as the number of children testing positive. Sure, you could say that the kids get sick when they contract COVID, but most of them don't die from it. Is that a risk that you're willing to take with the children of our community? The elementary school is large with plenty of space for the kids to eat spaced out outside. Our Calistoga community is small but mighty, and our children are the future of this community. Don't you want to give them the safest options to help them succeed? I will leave you with one question. Would you feel comfortable as an unmasked, unvaccinated person to sit in a room with over 50 other unmasked, unvaccinated people every day for lunch? I know I wouldn't, so that is why I'm here tonight. I want to thank you for your time, and I truly hope that we can keep working together to keep our kids safe.
Anybody have questions for Lauren? No. Thank you for taking the time to come in and prepare all that and tell us all of that, because it's really important that we hear everything that's going on in the schools. And it's a crazy time right now. Obviously, we are under so many different regulations and so many different things. We're trying to make it work. But I know that Aaron will make a point to meet with you this week at some point, right? And then you guys can go through and try to see if you can come up with some solutions that'll make you feel comfortable.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thanks. So we have nothing else? Okay, perfect. Okay, so then that brings us to 6.1, which is recognition. And just wanted to let everybody know that the Board of Trustees recognizes students, employees, or members of the community who have received recognition for academic or athletic achievement, or who have made significant contributions to any kind to the district. The following person tonight is being recognized by the board. So Bill Shaw and his whole CalMart team, which includes one of our board members, for the generous donations to the district throughout the year. But I want to say that it goes beyond that. Bill is a leader in our community. Not only is it the contributions he makes, but it's just being involved in everything. It's not just contributions to the school, it's contributions to many aspects of our community. I think maybe a few of the board members want to tack on to what I'm saying, but I always feel when I go into the grocery store that every time I buy my groceries at CalMart, which is almost all the time, I'm not only buying groceries, I'm donating to the community, because you do so much work for everybody. So from me, thank you, but I'll let everybody else chime in as well.
And Bill, as a Calistoga alumni yourself, all the things that you do for the community, and over all the years we've known you, you never say no to anything. So we really appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you in the name of all the clients that the Papali Family Center serve, because as you know, you for so many years have been, very important part of the celebrations and, our recent back to school celebration where, your donations make a difference, or, holiday assistance program. Many other situations where we have come to you and asked for your support. And, thank you very much.
So it's everything from donating to grad night, to donating to the school, to a scholarship that's provided by CalMart. So we want to say thank you, and we just wanted to give you a little token of our appreciation. We should probably put that at the end. And then they'd have to stay for the whole meeting. Okay, so next is another fun part, which is us getting to hear all about the 2021 summer program overview. So Mr. Jeremy Grove took that over as principal this year, and he's going to give us an overview of how that went.
Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all here. So yes, I'm Jeremy Grove. So I'm a parent in town that teach science here at the junior high and
Jeremy, lean in a little bit because it's hard to hear you.
And, oh, that was too far. Sorry about that. That was a little much. Yes, I've been the summer school principal 4 out of the 8 last years, including this past month. Thank you, sir. So yeah, it was a wonderful program. I'm super, I don't know, it felt really good. It was nice. It was great. It was a sincerely wonderful program. We worked, I think, very well together as a district to put this on. And so it was, I felt proud to be a part of this program. It's hard to encompass it on the slides. So I'll do my best to elaborate, but I probably won't elaborate too much because you gave me a mic, and so it might never elaborate too much. But we had a huge program this year. I think one of the biggest I've ever been a part of, and I think according to what Michael was saying, the biggest that we've put on maybe ever. We had bridges. So we had a Bridges program, which is for transitioning kids, and that we partnered with Indira, the Up Valley Family Center, with to put on Bridges, which is a really cool program. It's for kids who may not have had enough or any preschool experience. So we partner with them to, and we had 2 classes this year, 2 really full classes. So that's for incoming kindergarten kids. We have, or some TK as well. We have the extended school year, which is a program to extend the school year for our kids with special needs. We had the elementary school Calistoga Wildcat Camp, which was up to 5th grade, and then at the junior high we had 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grades. We partnered with another entity, Aim High, to put this on. It was a very STEAM-focused program, so science, technology, engineering, art, math. In school, there's a lot of hands-on project building. The Wildcat Camp, the curriculum was the traditional English, language arts, and math, but we also had the social and emotional component to it as well. I'm going to scooch down here. There you go. And then at the high school, we offered credit recovery to our kids that needed credit recovery in 12, 11, and great. So it's really cute. I don't know, I had fun doing it. That's my favorite part of the summer program is working with the kids at the elementary school. I just never get to see them. So I really enjoy that part. So this is kind of a description of the day of everybody, but primarily from the perspective of an elementary school kid. So the kids would arrive fully masked, we'd line up out on Berry Field, then the teachers would come out and greet their kids, and then they would walk them back to school, and we had, it was kind of cool, they had little lines with their teachers, and excited to start the day, and we'd bring food. I deliver food to, Jacinto and I would deliver the snacks to the kids, so they could eat outside when they were ready. The kids would get a vid, so then they would do a morning program of either English or language arts, then they would go to recess, eat their snack, play for a little while, and then they would come back in for the afternoon program. And this is also very similar to the flow of the day at junior high, and the high school as well. The only difference at the high school would be that there was 2 groups of kids, so we could maximize the number of kids in the class. So we had, because we had a 15 or 16 person limit in the classroom, so we'd have 2 groups flip-flopping. In the high school, we had 3 teachers covering 15 kids in the morning and then 15 kids in the afternoon. And the kids at the elementary school got to see Miss Marianne, our docent. So it was good. It was an awesome program. So the bridges total, you can see the numbers there. The bulk of the kids were at the elementary school. There's nearly 160 kids there. We had 362 kids. I think I was looking, the largest program I did previously was the 2014 one, and I thought we had a lot of kids that year, and I looked back at my notes, and that was only 240 kids. So yeah, I think we're at least 50% again over that this year. So we had a lot of kids. It was cool. Here's the trends for enrollment. So there was a staggered start date, so the weekly attendance seems weird at first, but that's because only 2 of the programs started in the beginning. And then, as you can see, there's pretty solid and consistent attendance. We had 362 kids enrolled. The largest week was that July 6th through 8th, where we had an average of, I think, 340 kids. And then, we had like an average of 320, but the maximum number was like 340 that year. So we had, even with COVID, and I was constantly on the phone with parents, asking them to bring a negative doctor's note or whatever. But we had some symptoms. So even with like me sending kids home relatively regularly with symptoms, we had solid attendance numbers. So it was cool. Kids came. One interesting thing about summer school this year is we opened it up to everybody. Typically we would have teachers recommend kids who they felt should be in summer school, which we also did. Teachers were allowed to recommend whom they wanted to go. But we pretty much just opened it up to any kind of registration. And so that was one reason why the numbers were so big. But I think there's another reason why we had such solid attendance pretty regularly, is just that, kids wanted to be there. So yes, those are the attendance reflections. It was great. Bridges was huge. Previously, like I said, I think we had 2 classes at one point in time, but the numbers in the program were around 8 to 10 per class. We had 26 this year, which was huge. We had a ton of kids in Bridges. They were going through their own learning numbers, learning letters, learning the behaviors of school, and or how to do school a little bit if you're haven't had that opportunity in preschool. And Mrs. Rivas and Mrs. Ochoa, the staff members there, did a fantastic job getting the kids prepared to go to come to school. The ESY we also did, so for the Bridges we adopted another huge success was we adopted a brand new program for pretty much most of the only thing we repeated was the APEC. So every program that we adopted this year was a brand new program, which kind of had some rough moments, but because when a teacher's learning a program, it doesn't just fly right off the handle really well, but it went good. I mean, it was amazing. So yeah, the ESY teacher piloted a new program. She focused a lot on reading and writing. Every time I was in there, the kids were reading and writing. And yeah, they were, and another big thing I keep writing in the reflections, it was cool because this was the first en masse reintroduction to school of like whole classes. Like previously it had been flip-floppy, trying to manage the COVID protocol, so like you'd have half a cohort here and half a cohort there, but this was the full reintroduction. So when I say we were reintroducing kids like en masse to school environment, it was the first, just like you're going to class with your whole class and then going home later. It wasn't, we weren't kind of flip-flopping with the COVID cohorts. And then the Wildcat Camp, this is the elementary program. It was, again, amazing. There's 157 kids and it was highly attended. We piloted brand new curriculum again. We introduced a new assessment platform. And the kids wanted to be there. They were happy to be there. So that went well. The teacher feedback was pretty positive on the curriculums, all the curriculums we introduced. It was, they had a couple pathways. They could do traditional math or like kind of expanded to a project-based approach. And so the teachers had some freedom to deliver it how they wanted. And for the most part, I got overwhelming positive feedback on the curriculum we chose. The Aim High was really cool. Again, so this was a bridge. Aim High is a program out of the Bay Area. They work to really work with middle school age kids to get them happy about school, to keep them happy and excited. And so it was really neat. There was an engineering, and a lot of the kids were making like parachutes and timing how slow, and then redoing it and timing it again to see if they could make a better parachute. They had book clubs. It was a really super cool program. And we had a lot of graduates. So they had teachers virtually. We had Miss Zepeda walking around as our teacher, and then we hired some recent grads to facilitate the classroom, to do the hands-on with the kids. So it was cool. The kids were engaged every time they went in there. They were working on something or painting something. It's neat. So this is the high school. We had 84 students enrolled. And so Apex is an online program that if you have taken the class already, you can work your way through the class. If you pass the pretest, you can work at your own pace. And so if you pass the pretest for like a unit, you can skip it. So if you've shown mastery, you can skip that unit. And so this is why we had 84 kids enrolled, but 166 courses attended, because some kids were able to fly through the curriculum because they had shown mastery, and then the parts that they weren't mastering, they could then master it. And so they had 166 courses attempted and 133 completed. So that's 133 of our students who didn't have those units or credits and now do. So I think that was highly successful as well. And so yeah, you can see on this slide that some kids even completed up to 5 courses. So a lot of kids, if they wanted to work hard and they chose to work hard, they did well. So there are just a couple of ideas about next year. One of the difficult things about summer school was when multiple entities were rostering. We had a kind of a rough go with our particular roster. So it was in the future, if we're putting on the program, it would be nice if we were the ones creating the roster. I don't know exactly how that would work, but when there's 2 programs in which we were dual rostering, one with Bridges and then the other was Aim High, and so that created 2 other entities that were enrolling. So a suggestion I have would be to allow us as the district to be if we're putting on the program, to be the ones who primarily create the rosters, of course with the input of the other people that we're partnering with, but that would have made life a little bit easier and more fluid in the beginning. The hybrid, and I don't think we're going to do this again because this was because of COVID, but it was hard to have teachers there, but then our teachers running it. with their teachers online. So the hybrid thing was not perfect. It went really well, especially for our inexperienced kids who had never been in the classroom, and then to put them in the classroom with like 12 to 15 junior hires. It was not easy for them, but they did super well. But that was a difficult thing. But I think, fortunately, the only reason we did that was because of the pandemic. It was a huge program, amazingly successful. I think that the staff I would suggest we had in the future would be another. Alex had to do. She couldn't get to her actual work that she needed to do for the school. So if we could get another tech support during, which we've recently hired another tech support. So, but if that was kind of hard for her, and then secretaries, if they could start sooner in the future, that would allow again the enrollment process and the communication to be at the schools rather than, I think sometimes people didn't know exactly where to go to figure out who to talk to. And then with respect to the assessment, we used a different assessment this year, and I think that just created anxiety for the kids, and I don't think the data that we got was any good, just because mostly we're trying to learn how to use it, so that was really shaky. So I would suggest in the future to stick with our district adopted math. We could easily do that instead of trying to just implement a whole other different kind of assessment. But we did really well. We brought back our kids into school full-time, well, as full-time as summer is, which is half-time, but everybody did a new program. We were super safe with COVID protocols. It was an open enrollment. That was the first time that worked really successfully. We created a whole new school in Aries, which had never been done before in summer school. We would always like hand input stuff after summer school, so we created a whole new school in Aries, and everybody was amazing and wonderful and did a fantastic job. I think that's, and so this slide is just like, I felt like what I was saying in the beginning, this is a reiteration of that in the sense that I felt like we worked really well together, like from the district office through to me, through Alex, and then down to the teachers and everybody we needed to talk to. I feel like we just really facilitated a fluid and easy to do summer. So everything was great, I think. And that's my presentation.
That presentation was excellent.
Good.
Very good. Super good information. I'm so proud of you and everybody that did it. I mean, you guys pivoted and made 5 new things happen, which is like crazy. It's like working for a tech upstart.
Kind of, yeah.
So, and I always like that about those people that they're like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're just going to make it happen. And that's what you guys did. That's amazing. And thank you for all the super good info. And your feedback points are great. It's all fine tuning, right? I mean, only one way to figure out what doesn't work.
Right, just to try it.
Yeah. So, awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I also want to thank you for your collaboration with the parent piece of the Bridges program. In another note, we have 14 parents who came to one of the 4 stations that we offered for them, and they were super excited. Erin was one of our stations, talking to the parents, and it's great for them, to see, what the school looks like, and, seeing the administrators coming by and saying hi to them was super important. So thank you for all of that.
Absolutely. I love seeing the parents. It's really nice to have everybody come in. So yeah, you're
You're a hero, Jeremy. Thank you. Awesome job.
all right.
Okay, that was good. All right. Now let's get to the information and discussion portion. So 8.1, we are going to take a look at some revisions that we made on the local control accountability plan, LCAP. Do you want to outline that?
I'm happy to. So these are revisions that were suggested by the Napa County Office of Education, and I've detailed each of the revisions in the pages that you can find them. And these will actually, once you approve this document tonight, then it will be approved by the county office and then uploaded on our district website.
Anybody have questions? So basically, they just went down and gave us some advice. Okay. All right, so then we move past that. And then we are reviewing again 6 new board policies and administrative regulations, sorry.
I'd be happy to. So the revisions that are being brought forward tonight are all just reflections of changes to law. None of these are specific to our district, but they're recommended by CSBA.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions on any of those? All right, then that will bring us to Principal Guerrero, who's going to take the attention off of my clumsy. Oh, no, we're going to start with Nicole. Nicole, go ahead. We're so excited to have you back with your principal reports. Take it away.
All right, good evening, everyone. Our report is pretty brief tonight, just because we've started off the school year. We're about a month in. In terms of ensuring academic excellence for all students, we really started the school year off focusing on routines, technology, and social emotional learning. And next week, we're going to be doing our fall administration of math testing, which is our English language arts and math indicators that we do 3 times a year. And we're also moving forward with our digital citizenship to support students in the use of their devices. And the lessons through, the provider is through Common Sense Media. And they will occur, depending on the grade level, either once or twice a trimester. And they focus on topics like digital footprint, social media, and digital bullying. With respect to LCAP goal number 2, this month we started our pooled testing. And actually our first pooled testing was last week. And it really was a collective effort between Concentric, who's our provider, Nida Delegine, who is our school nurse, and Melinda Mendoza. And we were able in 2.5 hours to be able to get all of our students tested. And again, thank you to those folks who helped out with that. Also, at the beginning of the year, all Calistoga Elementary School teachers were trained in Second Step, which is a social emotional learning curriculum. And each week, teachers present a lesson to students on topics such as growth mindsets and personal goals and trying new things. And really, because we've not had full-time in-person learning for 19 months, we are again focusing on restorative practices. When there are conflicts in the student community, we've been conducting restorative dialogues. And in this meeting, students will come together to discuss the impact of harms such as like being hit or being pushed. And after the meeting, the students come up with agreements to fix the problem. With regard to LCAP goal number 3, parent engagement, we had a webinar regarding pooled testing. It was our first webinar we've done on Zoom. And we had about 80 parents participate and ask questions about upcoming testing. And again, a huge shout out to Alex and Derry and Monica Garibay for helping to facilitate this meeting. And our first parent engagement meeting will be this Friday, September 17th. We're going to be conducting that on Berry Field because of the limitations of having parents on campus. And our focus for that meeting is going to be, again, on pooled testing to try to get increased participation in that program. So thank you.
Hello everyone, it's good to be back in person, although I do miss wearing shorts during Zoom meetings, work meetings.
Some of us still do.
So for LCAPCO, number one, ensuring academic excellence for our students, it's hard to believe that we're starting week 5 already. We kicked off the year with professional development centered on supporting our students' social and emotional needs and familiarizing ourselves with our new SEL curriculum called Project Wayfinders. These mini lessons are implemented every Tuesday during advisory period. And then we started off with our theme for the years that we're using as a staff is bringing our work back into focus. And in our opening staff meeting, we acknowledged all the professional growth we had this past year, especially regarding technology. And as a reminder to staff to keep that growth mindset going, I gave them all a little band like this because during the pandemic, we really have stretched our learning, right? And I wanted them to keep that stretch, right? That now we're back in regular school setting, normal school setting. I didn't want them to come back to the way we always did things before, but use some of that growth that we did during the pandemic. So I gave them a little reminder for that. We also discussed the importance of refocusing on academics, our rigor, while balancing the students' social and emotional needs. And for that, a little reminder, I gave them a little ring, that's a little eyeball. The idea with this was that, focus on the rigor, right? Focus on the students. But the beauty of this ring is that you could also turn it around, and I want the staff to also focus on themselves, right? To make sure that they're balanced, that they're healthy, so they can teach their best. We have also been working as a staff in establishing trust agreements with our work with restorative or listening groups that we're doing now, an essential step in continuing our work to improve our school culture. We're scheduled to do MAP testing September 28th, so that's going to be good assessments that will give us some information as well as SEL assessments here next week, so we can have a baseline to see how our students are doing in that area. In regards to LCAP goal number 2, providing a safe, healthy, and positive school environment, the highlight of the year really has been having the students back on campus. On a positive note, we have had students excited to be back and participating in a more normal type of school year. We have approximately 150 students participating in fall sports. Our ASB classes are organizing activities and our classrooms are engaging students in their learning. On the other side of the coin though, we do have teachers and staff that have had to do more reminders on appropriate class behaviors, have spent more time reinforcing positive social interactions, and have had more students needing emotional support. I was just talking to her counselor earlier today, and she had to do, she's been really busy with risk assessments that have occurred from the beginning of the year to now. But I believe that this is part of the process of adjusting to being back on campus, and that we will continue to see a definite growth in our students academically and socially. And then LCAP goal number 3, increasing parent engagement and enhanced communication. To keep our families informed on what is happening on our campus, the weekly bulletin is sent home on Sundays with important information. We include essential school activities, links to additional information in our school's menu and sports schedule in these bulletins. I also recently hosted a coffee with the principal. That's the first time in over a year that I've been able to do that. And these monthly meetings are designed to allow parents and guardians an opportunity to meet with me and talk about school and programs. We had approximately 10 parents attend and engage in a great conversation for over an hour. Back to school night is this Thursday, and of course we have to switch it up a little bit, so we'll be making available to parents a Padlet with the links that they could access. So families will receive a link with information on how to access teacher-made slide video presentations describing their class contents and expectations. And one of my professional goals this year is to continue to increase parent involvement, and I'm going to focus on having more father or male figures come into those meetings, as typically we have the moms participate and not too much of the parent participation. So that's just one of my goals for the year. Thank you.
Wonderful, okay. And although we have not officially signed you in, Shannon, you have to pronounce your name for me, so I say it wrong. Williams is going to go ahead and give her report. And good for you for coming all prepared with a report already. She's hitting the ground running.
Hi, my name is Shannon Williams, and I'm a junior this year and a student representative to the board. The student body and I have both felt very excited to finally be back in person and for the start of the new school year. Sports have started once again, and the energy on campus has been so refreshing. This year, the high school ASB is hoping to capture this energy and fill the hearts of our students with all the joy they have missed out on over this past year and a half. Currently, the high school ASB is preparing for homecoming by purchasing class t-shirts, picking out our theme, and planning activities for Spirit Week and rallies. The junior high has been working on these as well. They're doing a new thing called body boxes, which are used to recognize positivity and kindness throughout the junior high. They're also bringing student movie to cause more attention to students who deserve recognition for hard work and being a good overall person. They have also begun to brainstorm culture ideas like a trip to buffet and an overnight boat trip. Among those great ideas, they have also been preparing for rallies like one for homecoming and another one to kick off the school year in a great positive way. So far, it has been a great start to the school year, and everyone seems excited to finally get back in person again. As we move forward with planning these activities, we are hoping for open and frequent communication from the board for protocols surrounding our regularly scheduled events so that our students are safe, but so that we are also able to bring back the events that make this school feel so special and make this time for all.
Good job. I'm just curious, I don't know if I should ask, but are you able to do the floats this year?
Yeah, we're planning on it.
Okay. It's not homecoming without the crazy floats.
Yeah, we're
Okay, great. So now we're going to move on to Michael, Director of Educational Services and HR.
Hey, good evening. I previously shared an update with you on EB 104, which is legislation that did a number of things. But one of the things it did was allow students from last year to change a letter grade to pass or fail. And our high school team shared that information with their families, with their students. We had a number of students take advantage of that. One of the unique things about that legislation is it put this very firm timeline of 15 days for us to notify families and for them to take advantage. We anticipate that the legislature has passed an extension to that, and it's on the governor's desk. And so I've heard he's probably not going to do a lot of signing of legislation over the next few days. But assuming he is not called, we anticipate this will get signed, and if it does, we'll go back out to our families. Our sense is most students that wanted to take advantage of this did, but if there should be other families, some districts went out in the middle of summer with this, and so parents just didn't even get the notification earlier, have time. I don't think that's the case with us, but if this legislation gets signed, then we'll go back out for another opportunity. Share an update with you on the Teacher of the Year process. In our county, this has been a very centralized process with Napa County Office of Education. They have historically taken all the names of educators or teachers within the county and kind of taken a large group and worked to narrow it down to a number of teachers. This year, we're going to have quite a shift to it's going to feel a little more familiar to me at least, which is that districts control their own process. So we as a district will select our own Teachers of the Year. And then we'll recognize them here, probably in February, and then we'll pass them on to the county. Then they can go through their process there, and then their winners, if they want, can go through the state process. I think it'll be a good change, because it gives us a little more ownership over our Teacher of the Year. And I think we'll get to go through the process and have them really be honored by us, and then move on potentially. So more information to come, but we're probably looking at the February board meeting for that. An update on assessments. We are completing our initial LPAC assessments this week. This is the test we give new students who are new to our school and have a language other than English in their home. And so that's wrapping up this week. And as was said, we're preparing for our fall MAP testing in September 20, 21st, we start that. We will be giving a new social emotional learning assessment around the week of 9/20. This is a new tool for us, which will give us information about students' social emotional skills and functioning. And it's paired with the social emotional learning curriculum that we're implementing. So we'll be able to see what are the students' strengths and growth areas, and is the curriculum that we're implementing impacting that. And then we'll be giving the CASP again this year, hopefully. The State Board of Education approved the condensed version of the SBAC. They approved that for last year. We didn't give the SBAC last year. We gave the MAP assessment because we were allowed to do that. This year I anticipate we'll go back to CASP, but it will be a shortened version of that test. And Nicole and Raul spoke to some of our other ongoing initiatives, and just as a reminder, as we move forward with important initiatives, restorative practices, listening circles, implementation of our social emotional learning curriculum at both sites, implementation of digital citizenship at both sites. It's amazing that, to move forward with these things in spite of all the other issues we're dealing with as we continue to deal with COVID-related issues at the sites and at the district office. But I will also share that our Math Innovation team did have their first release day with the UC Davis Math Project. And this is really exciting work. It's probably been years coming with the WestEd study, finding a provider for professional development. So it's really, really exciting to see that group get to do this work. And the PD was primarily focused on common instructional practices that can be ritualized so the student gets a consistent experience through their math journey and sees consistent math practices. One thing we did learn, though, from that first day is the needs of our teachers at the elementary school are unique from the teachers at the junior senior high school. And to make sure that that time is valuable and that everyone is getting good PD, we did make a decision to have that team be an exclusively secondary team with the UC Davis provider. The elementary team of teachers will continue to have release days and continue to study math practices and do PD for the site, but I think they'll function as two groups to make sure that everyone's needs are met, and that's a call that we heard from the teachers who attended, and we want to honor that. I think it's probably the right direction to go. And that is my report for today.
On to you, Erin.
So under LCAP goal number 1, our data leadership team had a very productive meeting last week. We revisited our vision, our priorities, we clarified expectations for the DLT, and we discussed how to expand the committee members' roles with data-driven dialogue in our schools. The team also planned how to best help staff, students, and families prepare for the upcoming fall administration of MAP that you've heard about from our site administrators. Under LCAP goal number 2, it has already been a benefit to have Officer Sam serving as our SRO. In addition to being a presence on the campus and helping with traffic patrol every morning and afternoon, she's been teaching DARE at the elementary school. And she will soon be submitting a grant application for the Every 15 Minutes program. So we'll be bringing that back in the spring. And as Nicole mentioned in her report, despite encountering a number of obstacles due to statewide shortages of medical staff and also testing supplies, we were able to still implement a full testing program at the elementary school. And it was truly a team effort. She also mentioned that the medical assistant who helped conduct the tests was really complimentary of the CES team. She shared that she has been working in districts for the past 6 weeks, different districts every single day. And the first day at CES ran more smoothly than any of the other districts in the last 6 weeks. So that is a credit, I think, to the training that Nicole and Nurse Nida did with the kids ahead of time so they knew what to expect, and also to the organization of the school site. And it was just an example of all hands on deck. People were doing things that were certainly probably outside their comfort to make it a success. So we will be expanding the pool testing program to include other staff in the district if they'd like to participate, and if they're not working on this elementary school campus. And then we'll be beginning to test our student athletes as well in the near future. So our district is very fortunate right now that we're not experiencing the significant surge of COVID-19 cases that many of our neighboring schools are coping with right now. But we still have had a number of staff and students who have had to be sent home due to quarantine or due to exposure. However, educating students during a pandemic continues to have a significant impact on everybody in this organization. Unlike a larger district, we do not have a lot of staff to manage all the additional workload. So everybody's feeling it, from the classroom teacher to the paraprofessional to the secretary to the site administrators to the staff in the community office. And we still have expectations for implementing these COVID safety guidelines, and as Michael mentioned, continue to proceed with academics and social emotional learning. So I have great appreciation for everybody in this district and for how hard they're working this year. And under LCAP goal number 3, our family and community liaison, Monica Garraway, has been actively working to increase parent engagement throughout the district, amongst many other tasks that she's accomplished. It's a big list already at this point in the year. She's increased access for our Wildcat families by recording bilingual videos for parents to help them utilize Parent Square. She's provided one-to-one assistance for parents who need help navigating Aries or the Parent Square app. She's helped create email accounts for families who did not have them before then. And she assisted parents with completion of the online COVID-19 parent consent form, which is very appreciated. And then just another aside, Ed Code requires the governing board, and probably all know this, to submit the unaudited actuals to the county superintendent of schools every year by September 14th. So our district has always met that timeline. But Maureen was very, very close to submitting it to the county, had not quite completed it when she unexpectedly had to have her surgery. So she is now on medical leave until the end of December. The county has very kindly allowed us to extend the timeline for that to our October board meeting. So we'll be bringing that forward to the county. I'm also very appreciative of Sarah Blackstone. She currently serves as the Assistant Director of Fiscal Services at the county office. And she's going to complete the budget closeout. Maureen has great confidence in her. They work very closely. And Sarah has already been working and supporting Hall Mountain as well as Hope Valley the past many years. So she is confident she'll do a good job for us. The downside is that Sarah is retiring at the end of the month from the county office. However, she is going to be contracting back the district, so we would like. So I will probably be coming back to you with a recommendation at the October meeting that we contract with Sarah during Maureen's absence, so she can continue to do the day-to-day work on our budget. My staff.
Everybody. Okay. So then that brings us to consent agenda. So just remind everybody, actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff requests specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. So, unless anybody has any questions, I would be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved. Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that is roll call vote. President Elfisham, aye. Clerk Lopez Jones. Trustee Maxfield.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
And Trustee Rutherford Allen. Perfect. And then that leads us on to the exciting stuff, the action items. So protocol for action items includes staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. So we will start with 11.2 resolution 21-2201, and that is the student representative induction. So following California Education Code 35012, which provides the board to authorize its students to make motions that may be acted upon by the board, except on employer-employee relations pursuant to Government Code 3540-3549.3. The student representative for 2021 and 22 school year is Shannon Gilliams. Correct. Williams. It's like Williams with a G. Williams. Okay, so welcome Shannon, and so I'm looking for a motion to. So moved. Okay. Great, Rudy. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Yay! Welcome. Congratulations. Good job on our first report. Okay, and then going on to Resolution 21-2202, authorization to sign on behalf of the Board of Trustees. The members of the Board of Trustees of Calistoga Joint Unified School District hereby authorize the officers or employees whose names and signatures appear below to sign orders and other documents on behalf of the governing board of Calistoga Joint Unified School District during the period of September 1st, 2021 through to June 30th, 2022. Thereafter, to further board action limiting or extending this authority and notification of the county superintendent of schools of such action. Do you want to speak?
So this is simply putting Michael onto the signatory and then in place of Maureen, and then when Maureen returns to her office, we'll again switch her back. It's just a temporary.
Perfect. So I'm just looking for a motion to go ahead and approve Resolution 21-2202.
So moved.
Thanks, Rudy.
Second?
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. And that brings us to 11.4, tentative agreement between Calistoga Joint Unified School District and the California School Employees Association.
So we had previously brought the details of our agreement with CSEA. What this does is tells us the term of that agreement. It's a 3-year contract, a 3-year agreement, with opening of salary and benefits for 2 years, and then the full contract being open in 5 years.
Great. So we're just going for a motion to approve that agreement. Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. All right. So now 11.5, MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Napa Valley Unified School District. You want to explain it?
This is an agreement with the Napa Valley Unified School District to provide long-term independent study. They obviously are a much larger district and have the ability to provide those services. This is also a benefit to their district because they are an ADA revenue limit district, and so this will bring them some additional monies for the district that we can use a lot of and to serve our students well.
Questions? Okay. All right, looking for a motion to go ahead and approve the MOU with Napa Valley Unified.
So moved.
Great, thank you. Are we all in favor? Aye. Okay. And then 11.6 is agreement with Ann Childers for professional development.
This is for Ann Childers to provide professional development on our Professional Development Day in October. And we're very excited about this as we focus on social emotional learning. We also want to make sure that we draw an explicit connection to academics and student learning. And that's the work that Ann does. She does a lot of speaking on behalf of MAP and WEA we partner with. And her work on the October Day will be a lot about student agency and student reflection when it comes to their own data. Using data not as something that just teachers use to inform their instruction, but something that students own, as students own their own learning. So it should be really exciting to continue to do that.
Good, great. I think that's exciting. Looking for an approval for the agreement with Ann Childers. Thanks, Rudy.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then 11.7, local assignment option for ethnic studies credential.
The Ethnic Studies course requires it be taught by a social studies teacher. That being said, governing boards have the option to approve someone outside of their credential area to teach courses. And in this case, Aida Zepeda in particular has the experience, has the training, and has taught this class before, and this authorizes her to teach the ethnic studies course with her English credential.
Great. Okay, so looking for a motion to approve Aida as the, ethnic studies credential. Thanks, Rudy. Thank you. All in favor? All in favor? No, I think you guys are all doing great this meeting. People are a lot more energetic. Okay. And then 11.8, revised substitute salary schedule.
So this salary schedule increases the daily rate for substitute teachers. And we, statewide, regionally, have a significant shortage of substitute teachers. And so this is really important to our day-to-day operations that we have substitutes in our classrooms. And I think districts largely recognize that we have a shortage and we need to be proactive. So what we're seeing, especially within this county, is an increase in rates. And it's essential that we stay competitive. If we don't, I think we will certainly lose our daily subs to our neighbors, which will put a lot of pressure on our sites to be able to figure out that part of these absences. So this salary schedule increases the rate, I think keeps us competitive.
I think that's excellent. And I also think we all kind of have a responsibility to spread the news about that. I tell people all the day, I think nobody realizes that we need subs and that the pay is so good.
Yeah, it's a good rate, and as soon as, if this were passed, what we'll do is we'll go out to our subs tomorrow with a message letting them know it's increased. They should continue to keep their jobs with us. But yeah, if you can spread this message in the community, it's a pretty straightforward process to become a substitute teacher and help anyone get there.
Good, awesome. Okay, so looking for an approval to go ahead and revise the substitute salary schedule.
So moved.
Okay. Still looking for a second. And all in favor? Abstain is okay, and then moving on to some board policies that we reviewed last meeting. So 11.9 is just going ahead and enacting an action item to go ahead and approve these. And then I see you deleted one. One of them says deleted. Yes. Okay. You delete that. Okay, perfect. So I'm just looking for a motion unless there's any questions.
So moved.
Okay. Very good. All in favor? Aye. Perfect. Okay, and that brings us to closing items. So board meeting calendar is October 5th, November 8th, and December 13th. So you guys have to get your schedule, make sure that we're all available. If not, let Erin know. And then we have just one little thing on the future agenda item. I know there's going to be more sufficiency of instructional materials, which is annual. And then 12.3, we have no need to reconvene to closed session. And so I'm looking for Jeffrey's favorite motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Oh, I'm taking Rudy. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.